screaming demon babies, human skin lamps, and raging because I miss seeing Mrs. Johansson's boobs. Not since Castle Rock has a show brought us so deeply back into the Stephen King universe. This is not a recap video, but an in-depth guide to the show's biggest questions. What happened to Matty? Who are these guys in the gas mask? Why don't my parents love me? There will be some spoilers from the films and novel, but anything regarding future episodes will be saved till the very end for my trailer sleuthing section. But before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe. I write, edit, and produce my videos all by myself, so every comment and like helps me in the algorithm. The episode begins with the 1962 film The Music Man. This actually released in June of that year, 6 months after the events of this opening sequence. But I can see why the writers wanted to keep this particular movie in. The Music Man is the perfect metaphor for it. It follows an outsider who comes to a small town and manipulates its citizens, just like the evil entity that is it. Both feature a villain who relies on showmanship to get what it wants, both villains create fear out of nothing, and both stories feature children overcoming this agent of fear. Now, one of the major mysteries thus far is what happened to Matty. The first time we see him, he's sucking on a yellow pacifier at the theater. Yellow was the same color of Georgie's raincoat, who coincidentally was also taken by it in the 2017 film's opening sequence. Matty is an outsider, and that's a theme throughout it. Many of our characters, just like those in the Losers Club, are on the outs. We hear from the projectionist that Matty doesn't come from the greatest of families, and we'll see that he has a black eye. Many of Derry's children come from broken homes, which might make them more susceptible to its power. In the novel, Matty is a 3-year-old boy who was last seen riding his tricycle near his home. It's believed that he was killed by Pennywise the Clown. According to Lily, Matty told her that he had been seeing strange things. Combine that with his problems at home, it's no wonder he uses movies as an escape and wants to leave Derry for good. We'll see him pass this Welcome to Derry billboard, the birthplace of Paul Bunyan. We'll see that a Paul Bunyan statue has been approved by City Council, and it's a Paul Bunyan statue that attacks Richie in It Chapter 2. We'll also see this sign for the Legion of White Decency, a fictional white supremacist vigilante group. Think of it like the Ku Klux Klan of the North. Matty proves to us why hitchhiking isn't the greatest of ideas. It has conjured this seemingly perfect family that turns demonic. Remember that it feeds off our greatest fears. It's possible what Matty's seeing here reflects what was going on with his family at home. While we never see Matty die on screen, I believe his purpose in this story is similar to that of Georgie. It sparks an investigation by a group of kids that unravels the mysteries of Derry. So will we see Matty again? Well, I think he's dead, but if we do see him again, it'll be in ways similar to Georgie, either in flashbacks or it using his image and voice to manipulate the others, kind of like how he used Matty reaching through the pipes to Lily. Set against the backdrop of the Cold War, Derry's home to America's northernmost Air Force base. As Phil notes, an unusual amount of military planes have recently made landfall in town. We can also hear on the car radio talks of Russian underground nuclear tests and children born with birth defects from radiation. We are definitely living in the era of Red Scare. New to town is Leroy Hanlon, a Korean war vet who's been transferred to test the new B-52. Leroy is Mike Hanlon's grandfather from the films, who we saw teach Mike how to use a captive bolt gun. We'll see him pass a mysterious large hangar referred to as Special Projects. If you're like Phil, you might believe the government is hiding some sort of extraterrestrial in there. The It entity is from outer space, so maybe they found part of the meteor which brought it to Derry. No doubt if the government learned about its fear-inducing powers, they'd want to find a way to weaponize it against the Russians. This might be why a new bomber is needed. Leroy meets his men, one of whom by the name of Masters, who refuse to salute. In a show set in 1960s America, you better believe we'll be dealing with racism. Season 1 is centered around an incident that occurred at the Black Spot, a reference to a nightclub created by black airmen that is torched by the Legion of White Decency, trapping and killing many inside. You might have also noticed this man. Although he doesn't have any lines in the first episode, this is Dick Halloran, the telepathic chef of the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. In the novel, Dick works in the kitchen of the Black Spot nightclub and survives the arson attack. I can almost guarantee we'll be seeing more of him and his powers. Another big mystery from the episode: who are these guys in the gas masks? Now, I'm assuming that an Air Force base will have some level of security, which most likely means these guys are soldiers themselves. They also have pretty heavy-duty gas masks, which you might expect on a military base. Earlier in the episode, this soldier, Masters, refused to salute Leroy. Maybe he's one of the masked men, and could they be connected to the Legion of White Decency? But why would they want the specs for this new B-52? Could they be working with the Russians? They certainly don't sound like they're Russian, or maybe this is all a red herring, and these guys are actually the good guys wanting to stop the government from doing something evil. Maybe they're here just to scare Leroy. But there is something very odd I noticed. There are 3 attackers here, but one seems a little different. This guy stands off to the side and doesn't even have a weapon. When Russo jumps in to save Leroy, this guy, instead of attacking and helping his fellow men, flinches almost like he's cowering. Then when they decide to flee, it's almost like the other 2 guys are escorting him out. Who is he, and why is he here to witness this? Is it even a he to begin with? The episode's final chilling scene sees Matty inside the Music Man film posing like Pennywise. According to producers of the show, Pennywise will appear, but more toward the latter half of the season. Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise, is one of the executive producers of the show after all. Lily and Veronica are the only 2 we see make it out alive. It's possible one of the other kids also survives, but my guess is that these kids will end up haunting Lily and Veronica, similar to how Georgie haunted Bill. You may have noticed a lot of turtle symbolism in the show, from the Bert the Turtle mascot to the turtle trinket Lily puts on her bracelet. This is a nod to Maturin, a benevolent cosmic being from Stephen King's Macroverse that takes the form of a turtle. He's the entity that ends up teaching the losers how faith and belief can be used to fight it. If there's one major theme from the first episode, it's that of guilt. Phil and Terry feel guilty for not going to Matty's birthday party, stating that things might have turned out differently if they had gone. While Lily also feels guilty about Matty, who had feelings for her which weren't reciprocated, Lily is more guilty about her father. She lost her mood ring at one of the machines at the jarring plant where her father worked, and when he went to retrieve it, the gears turned on and crushed him to death. Now we get into a few hidden details. The Capitol Theater where Matty watches The Music Man is the same theater Richie plays Street Fighter in and which his adult version visits abandoned. The comic Theo reads features Clayface, a villain who can mold his body into any shape, just like Pennywise. Downtown Derry features several familiar stores from it or the Stephen King universe. There's Nan's Luncheonette, a recurring eatery found in such King novels as Needful Things and The Dark Half, a Jade of the Orient restaurant, which can also be seen in It Chapter 2, and the meat shop where Mike Hanlon experiences his first encounter with it. Lily tells the boys if she tells her parents she saw Matty in the pipes, they'll send her to Juniper Hill. This is Stephen King's fictitious insane asylum mentioned in Insomnia, Gerald's Game, and the Tommyknockers, just to name a few. The Derry Public Library is another staple landmark. This is where Ben Hanscom first learned about the slew of tragedies that have befallen Derry. Now we get into our trailer sleuthing section, where we take a look at the season's trailers to find out where the story is headed. I won't be looking at every clip, just the ones I think are relevant to the story to come. Leroy's family arrives in town where the neighbors aren't too keen on their arrival. It also looks like Phil and Teddy are replaced by these 2 boys, one of them being Leroy's son Will. Lily here experiencing one of its visions of pickle jars falling off the shelves. Remember that her fear is tied to the guilt she has for her father's death at the jarring plant. Here we have someone being escorted to the Shawshank prison bus. I think this might be Veronica's father, the projectionist at the theater. The cops had already tried to pinpoint Matty's disappearance on him, but now that more kids have gone missing in the theater, he's likely the prime suspect. In a creepy old attic, Lily finds old photos of a man resembling Pennywise the Clown. In the book, Pennywise reveals his human alias as Mr. Bob Gray. The show just might explore how it took on this human persona that would eventually become Pennywise the Clown. In the Invitation to Set video released by HBO, we'll see elaborate carnival scenes set in the early 1900s, which suggests a Pennywise origin story. More of our kids venturing into the Derry sewers. Not exactly my favorite summertime activity. It looks like the military has uncovered something around Derry. We find this old car containing several skeletons. Maybe this belonged to Bob Gray. In this shot, we'll see an image displaying Dig Site 1 in front of Leroy. Welcome to Derry will also incorporate stories from the Native American perspective, as they would know a lot more about this entity having been on this land centuries before the Europeans. We'll even see the meteor that crash-landed in Derry millennia ago. Looks like the Nebolt, or well house that leads to Pennywise's lair, might be making an appearance as well. Dick Halloran will somehow find his way down into this lair. Is he actually there, or is this one of his telepathic premonitions? Take a look at this shot where the edges are all opaque. I think he's seeing something in the future regarding that secret B-52 plane. We'll see that the Capitol Theater is closed, probably because of all those child murders. In the invitation to set trailer, it's heavily implied this is the Black Spot, the speakeasy for African-American airmen serving on the Air Force Base. And of course, we get an absolutely chilling image of a bloody Pennywise. But what did you think of the first episode of It, Welcome to Derry? I want to know your thoughts and theories, and if I should continue on with this series. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.